Recording in progress.
Hello, so how to get financial coaching clients. Now, I want to kind of build this into a deep dive of what does it actually take to successfully get clients for your financial coaching business. Now, these are stuff that I learned along the way of running my financial coaching business. Now, it started off as an accounting and bookkeeping business primarily, but then what started happening was the business owner clients started coming to me to help with their personal finances. So I started coaching them with that as well. And that took off so just way better than what I ever could have hoped, prayed, or imagined, So I'm really grateful for that, and now I want to share some of these tips with you, okay? And also, if you ever want some help growing your financial coaching business the way I did for mine, go ahead and click the link inside the description, either above or below the video, to book a call with myself. Let's see if I can help you inside of our financial coaching mentorship program, okay? So let's attack this thing. So I like to think about how to get financial coaching clients with a mixture of real world versus digital world, right? I like to split the two and really kind of remold them together so people can have choice. Because what I've kind of found is that people generally will have a natural affinity to one more so than the others, but there is a time and place for each. Now, me personally, I tend to stick primarily with the digital world just because I enjoy my house. I enjoy being able to get clients on my vacation. I enjoy being able to have free time in my day and not have to go travel, 30 minutes to a networking event, sit there for an hour, then drive 30 minutes back, right? So I'm going to give you access to both because I have done both in-person stuff and online. So we're going to break those two down. Okay, so number one, let's talk about online. So platform specific first. So there's two main ways in the digital world you can go and really make significant money, right? It's organic, that means free or low cost methodologies to go and get clients. You can then do paid, right? And then throughout your journey, you're going to be constantly saying, okay, so do I want to get more from organic methodology of getting clients, or do I want to get more from paid? And you're kind of going back and forth throughout your life, right? Because sometimes what happens in the beginning, you might want to do organic because it's low cost and we're just trying to build up our confidence in our clientele. Then you want to go paid because you just want to scale. Maybe you see an ad about scaling or something, and then you kind of come back and it's well, why don't I just get the best of both worlds? If I have a really good base of organic, have that be on autopilot, right? You get the same effect as ads, but then if you can strip your ads back and make them more profitable, now you're having a business that doesn't take you much time, you have money coming in no matter what, and you can grow it as far and as fast as you want with the advertising. So let's kind of break down organic first, okay? So within organic, there's content and there's audience, right? Content and audience is the main thing. Now, which do you choose to go after first? Do you choose to make content first, or do you choose to build an audience first? Now, you might be saying, Bryce, what do you mean? How can I build an audience if I don't have content? Well, we can actually discuss that in a minute. So first things first. Actually, we can go with audience first. So to keep things as simple as possible, in the beginning, you might not know exactly what to say to get people interested in your service. And that can be an extremely frustrating kind of spot to be at, right? Because if we don't know who we're talking to, then it's going to feel like we're making a lot of content, but we're not really getting much in return for that content. And again, it just kind of leads to discouragement, what's the point of me doing this? And that is one of the most destructive things we can have, because we don't want to feel like that. So number one, you could go and find your audience inside of Facebook groups, okay? Now, there's a free way to do this, there's a paid way to do this. We'll talk about the free way first, and then later on in the video when we talk about advertising and paid traffic, we can talk about using something different. Okay, so free Facebook groups. So in the beginning, right, you can go and answer questions. You could friend request members list. You could podcast with group owners. So answering questions. So what I did to actually go and build my initial clientele list was I went inside of Facebook groups around, financial aspects, building credit, growing a business, and I would just be a helpful member of the community. Anytime there's a question around something that I could potentially help on, whether that's like a business related question, like, how should they like track their business finances? How should they use like accounting software like QuickBooks? Or if it was like in the credit building, it was like, should I build my credit first, or should I pay down debt, or should I go and make more money, right? Questions like that. Or I go in financial advising kind of groups, and I would just answer any question I could particularly handle around financial services, or just the concept of money. And every single time that I would answer a question, I would ask them if my question answer was helpful. And any person said it was helpful, I would literally go and friend request them. So I would literally friend request them after that. So they post a question, I answer the question, ask if it's helpful, and then friend request them. Now, this methodology will get you your first, 100 to 1,000 friends very, very quickly. And these first 1,000 people that you are able to go and do this with, they are very, very loyal. To this day, 5 years after I started doing that, I still get clients from those initial questions that I answered. So that's more of your short-term and your long-term strategy. Now, one thing that will be a little bit hard is just making sure you're answering the right questions that will end up being buyers. There were a lot of times where I would answer questions that did not really lead to sales right away. They ended up leading to sales, but just didn't happen the time frame I wanted, and I really wanted to make money quickly. So if you're gonna be doing the answer those questions, it's not necessarily something that you do in a vacuum. I did in a vacuum because I didn't have any other options at the time. I just didn't know that. I learned from this marketing course I did, so I didn't really have any like tools in my tool sets. But the next thing I would be doing is, when you start answering these questions, if you can choose like maybe like 4 or 5 main groups that you get along with, there's a lot of questions you can answer and you're very helpful. Now I would go inside of the members list. So in every Facebook group, there's gonna be like a list of people that says like members with things in common, right? Now, Facebook's all about connecting people that potentially know each other. So on Facebook, every person has at least anywhere between like 3 to 4 mutual friends in common. I would friend request. Now, let's say, Bryce, I just started my profile. I don't have any people I can friend request. What should I do? Just friend request people that have at least 1 in common, or if they have 0, just like take it really slowly and just like friend request until you get people with common. What you'll start noticing is that inside of some of these different Facebook groups, it's like birds of a feather flock together. So once you get like 5 to 20 people, you'll start getting more and more of these friends in common. Also, what you could do is you could actually friend request other financial coaches, other money coaches, and you'll basically go and get mutual friends that way. So let's say that Susie has 100 people that are friends with her. If you friend request Susie, you will get access to those 100 people. Like, you'll be able to like now start having a mutual friend in common. So if you do that with Susie, Mike, Suzanne, right? That's 3. Now you have 300 potential people that you have mutual friends in contact with. So you can start growing your list a little bit faster like that. Now, you don't need 1 million people to do this. And the Facebook friend requests, like friend requests and members list, that will be the first methodology you should drop off over time, right? But this is how we get started. This is how we kind of build our list, because really what you're looking for is if you can go and get, at least 1,000 people on your list, you should get anywhere between like 5 to 10 of these of your clients, right? So you gotta, whatever you can do to get to that first 1,000. I know that sounds like a lot, but it doesn't have to be done overnight, right? If you price your service out correctly, and let's say you're pricing your services for $3,000 or $5,000 or even $7,000, you don't need 1 million clients to do so. So by the time you get your first, let's say 1,000 friends, right? And if you already have 10 clients, let's say that you're charging $5,000 for your service, right? And I know, again, bear with me. I know that price sounds maybe sounds large if you're starting on, you're brand new, but you can get there eventually, right? And don't worry, like just because you're charging $5,000 does not mean that you're price gouging or that you're taking advantage of people, right? It really will depend on your target market, and we do have videos on this channel that break down how to price out your services. So you don't necessarily have to go straight to $5,000, or you don't even have to do $5,000. You can do way more, you can do way less. Just depends. But let's say you're just doing $5,000, and that's just a flat for the sake of example, right? We get 10 clients. That's $50,000. If you could make $50,000 in your first year, almost pure profit before taxes, that's going to be a worthy challenge. You know what I mean? That's going to be like a good goal. It's a good starting point. You can make 6 figures in your first year, but really, if you can get away with just being very profitable, putting all that money into your bank or paying off your bills, that is a win. And like, don't feel like in order to have a successful financial coaching business that you need to have 100,000 followers. That was a misconception that I had when I first started all of my businesses, right? So I technically have 3 businesses. It's really all one, but it's 3 different branches or different divisions, right? So we have my accounting business, my financial coaching business, and then like my mentorship, right? And like for my mentorship program, we basically mentor accountants and financial coaches, right? But basically the stuff that I did to be successful, I just show other people what to do that. And I thought that in order to be successful, I would have to be like Jake Paul or Grant Cardone with millions of followers, because that's all I saw when I started out. And I started out with 0, right? So like, I was kind of nervous about people in my local area seeing that I had a business. So I started a Facebook profile from scratch. So my Facebook profile started out with 0 people that knew I existed. And I was like, oh my gosh, there's no way I can like make this stuff work, because I'm starting at 0. Like, how can I get 1 million people? I have 0. And it was so like nerve-wracking for me, right? And it was just intimidating every single day. But I'm always reminded, like, when I'm constantly finding is like you can get less and less and less people and still make more and more and more money, right? And one of my lead channels, every 30 people that opt into this lead magnet ends up signing up for one of my higher tier programs. And it's like, wow, 30 people. I used to think it would take 1,000 followers to go and get 1 client, but it doesn't have to do that, right? So that's Facebook. Another thing you can do on Facebook is you can actually podcast with different owners. Now, depending on how you feel about putting yourself out there, personally for me, I was super nervous about doing this methodology because when I was new, I didn't have a lot of experience. So I was nervous that I would do a podcast with a competitor and that competitor would call me up and be like, you don't know what you're doing and you don't know what you're talking about. And then everyone kind of see that I wasn't experienced, that I didn't have 40 years in the game, and I was so nervous about that. So I didn't do podcasts until about year number, I like to say 3 in my financial coaching journey. And the interesting thing is that one of the podcasts I did in that first year, number 3, I ended up making, I like to say I ended up making $30,000 from that one podcast. Now, it wasn't $30,000 all at one time. Within the next 12 months of doing that podcast, I got $30,000 worth of leads from that, right? From the whole podcasting, we'll call it spree, S-P-R-E-E, spree in general, I ended up making about, I think it was between $70,000 and $100,000 now that I'm looking back and thinking about it. So it's definitely very powerful. And the cool thing about this is that it will actually drive the other things. So I'm going to put this a little bit more centered and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. So every single time that you answer a question, people kind of notice that you're there. Now sometimes the admins see you as competitors. View you as competitors, as comp. Right? And it's like, oh my gosh, it's very easy to get kicked out of these groups. Like you kind of want to be careful when you're first getting in. Now, it doesn't mean that you are competition, but sometimes people are just they have really kind of not negative mindsets, but very scarcity focused mindsets. So I think there's a limited number of people. If these are my leads, they can't be your leads, and they'll kick you out of the groups, right? So if you go and do this podcast episode with them, and if you don't know what to say, I can always give you a script inside of our mentorship program, how to structure this podcast. Same thing with answering questions. I will sit there with you and answer questions inside of these different Facebook groups with you, so you know how to actually do it, right? Anything I teach about in these videos are something we coach on the side of our mentorship program at a much more customized level that can help you where you're at. Because I know sometimes watching these videos, it's really hard to kind of get a full feel for how should you specifically do it. So that's why the mentorship program is kind of like the above and beyond thing, because the last thing I want to do is like tell you specifically when you're watching a video to do one thing, but maybe you don't have the prerequisite skill set that someone else does, and it can lead to like very drastically different results. So I like giving you an overview and like what to do, and then your job as you're watching these videos to customize it. If you are to sign up in our mentorship program, I'm not only going to tell you what to do, but I'm also going to tell you how to do it for your specific situation. So that'd be kind of the difference between like watching these videos and doing our mentorship program. But okay, so the podcasting with owners is going to cause you to have some sort of like immunity. We'll say builds immunity. Okay? That just means like you can do whatever you want inside of their group anymore. Like even if they're competitors, they now see like, oh, this person tried to help me out. Oh, we're friends now. Oh, this is great. And I'm not saying you just go and like manipulate and like be like a bad friend, but this is kind of the result of it. And the cool thing is like whenever I would do a podcast, I would do it as like a joint podcast. So what I mean by that is like, so the first one is like you talk about them, so they get to go and share, and you can post on your profiles, whatever. And it's not a bad thing to post you interviewing someone else on your profile. It's okay if they get shine, okay? Kind of going back to how we were talking about the group owners were feeling scarcity. You as a financial coach should not feel scarcity as well. There's so many leads to go around. There's so many potential people who can help, right? So it's okay to give other people shine or exposure, right? The more you kind of give both to your client and to other potential competitors, the more you're going to receive back in terms of collaboration, in terms of referrals, and in terms of clients, okay? But this kind of builds a sort of immunity. So basically what happens is you can answer as many questions, and you can start to post within different Facebook groups. Posting in groups. Okay, that is actually the fourth method. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, I'm not going to talk about posting inside of groups right now on this specific video, because I'm just going to kind of break down the different platforms in particular. But, and also another reason why I don't want to do it in this video is because like if you don't know how to do it like the full correct way to do it, it's very easy to get like pulled or kicked out of Facebook groups. I don't want you to get kicked out of Facebook groups because I don't have enough time in this video to go through every single aspect of it, just being completely frank with you, okay? I don't want you to get kicked out of groups. I don't want you to finally find, like, because that can be it can be demoralizing, right? There was one time I had this like Facebook group, and that Facebook group, I think it gave me about $40,000 worth of clients in like the first like 3 months that I was doing the financial coaching, right? And I got kicked out of it. I got kicked out of it on like January 7th. I remember the specific date because it was just so frustrating, because it was the best group that I could find in the time. I didn't know anything about other groups, right? And yeah, it really hurt me because it forced me to have to learn how to build my own lead source and start using my actual audience to start making more money. So why don't we do this? Why don't we stick on Facebook today? We'll talk about these other things in part 2. Give me 1 second. I'm just organizing my notes. I have a lot of notes on this topic, so I want to kind of like make sure. I just want to make sure that I can give you a really good overview, but like without necessarily getting things overwhelming. Because I know it can be a little bit overwhelming when we're talking about like marketing. Like, you know, at least when I was getting started, I wasn't very great at marketing, right? I just wanted to kind of like help people out as much as possible. So I didn't really, if I would have watched a marketing video that was like, you know, 16, 20 minutes long about marketing, it would have overwhelmed me. So I'm trying to keep it very like simple for you and just kind of make this a really simple overview for you. Okay. So when it comes to Facebook, right, there's different content we can make, right? There are reels, so we'll say video, we'll say written. Okay, so when I say a reel, that's just a 1 minute clip. Now, reels are actually very interesting because you can either sit down and make them yourself, so like sit in front of a camera and just like write out your ideas for like a 1 minute video, or what's a little bit easier to do is like make like a longer form video. So like when I say longer form, it doesn't have to be like 40 minutes long kind of videos if you're not used to that. It can be maybe like a 5-minute video, or it can be a 10-minute video, or what it could be is like maybe you just go and you Google like the top 100 questions either that people ask in regards to their finances. Or if you have clients, you can just like take a list of all the questions that they've asked you throughout the week, and then you just answer them on a video. So what I used to do was I would literally go, and there's different tools that you can use that can like basically research Google to see, okay, so what are the top 100 questions people ask. Now, if 100 is a scary number for you, do like 3, do like 5, do like 10. You don't always have to do the highest number I talk, but I talk in large numbers because I'm always thinking about like how to make 6 figures every single time I speak, right? Now, if you're not quite there yet and you're just beginning, you don't necessarily have to do that. So let's say for you, let's say you go find 10 questions, okay? So then you write those 10 questions on either a notepad, a sheet of paper, whatever it might be for you. And then you just put it on your camera, whether it's a web camera, a camera, and you basically just answer the questions. Okay, so basically, why is the sky green? Well, the sky is green because of a color of chemicals and blah 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 blah. Boom. Okay, next question. Why do our cars need gas? Well, our cars need gas because right now a lot of cars have a combustion engine and it takes blah 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 blah. Okay. Next thing, why do people like orange Gatorade versus yellow Gatorade? Well, sometimes people love oranges and like it's just a disposition where maybe their tongue likes oranges better than lemon or lime. Okay, cool. And you just do that for those 10 questions. Now you post it as one long video on your channel, and that can be anywhere from 1 minute to 10 minutes long. And then what you can do is you can use a tool that can basically clip that long video of the 10 questions, and each one of those questions can now become a reel, right? Which the under 1 minute clip. So now you just made 11 pieces of content with 10 minutes worth of effort, right? So it doesn't have to take you a lot of time. Now the trick with these reels is that the reels will get your information in front of more people, right? So now whenever you're making this content, people can start following you, they can start friend requesting you, and your brand begins to grow, right? That's video. Now, another thing is like with these mid-form piece of content is as you start getting better at sales and as you start getting better with marketing, you can start creating beliefs that people need to have in order to understand why they need your help. You can educate people on, so there's 3 things you can educate them on. Number 1 is financial coaching in general, right? That's your service. Next is we'll say your financial coaching, and then we need to say like your program. Those are the three education zones or sales you have to make in order for someone to want to sign up with working with you. So sometimes, for example, you might like make a post like 5 reasons why someone should look into financial coaching. Good. So now if your audience sees that, they're like, okay, so, wow, maybe I should look into a financial coach. Click. That's one sale. The first sale is made. Okay. Now the second thing is, okay, so I know I need a financial coach, but who do I actually go with? Okay, cool. So next you start making posts about why are you different, or why should someone work with you versus someone else, right? Or how to select a specific person. Okay. And now they're like, okay, cool. So I know I need financial coaching. The only financial coach I know is between Rob and Bryce. Okay, but I'm watching Bryce, and Bryce said like this is why I should work with him. I don't know really anything about Rob, so I think I'm leaning more towards Bryce. Okay, cool. That's sale number 2. Now sale number 3 is your specific program in general, right? That's your pricing, the options, the curriculum, the direction you're gonna go, and like what is like the plan, right? So based on that, you can start either making posts about what is different about your program and your service specifically, or you can do that on a consultation or discovery call. I like to call them consultation calls. I know some people like to do discovery calls. Just the more that you can set someone's expectations properly that there is a sale going to happen, the easier it is to actually get them to want to work with you. A lot of times what happens for like new coaches, and like this is not like because people have bad intentions, but it comes off a little sneaky. Like when I say sneaky, it's kind of like, well, I don't want to say I'm selling something. I don't want to let people know I'm trying to sell something. So instead, let me do a discovery call. I'm going to ask them a bunch of questions, and then at the end I'm going to say, okay, here's my price. But the problem with that is that even though you feel like you're not trying to sell them something, there is a sale, but now they kind of feel hoodwinked or hit over the head that now there's this price. And in a lot of cases, since they're not really educated on your process of your discovery call, they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know I was even going to buy something. They have an extreme anxiety flare up, and it becomes like this, it just becomes, they go into fight or flight mode. You don't want that to happen. You would rather have it to where, okay, hey, this is a consultation call where, it's to see if I can help you inside of our program. So when they come on the call, they know I'm going to evaluate a program. I maybe have spoken to my spouse to say like, hey, we're going to spend this much money on a potential program. I'm going to do this. And then if I think I'm going to pull the trigger, then I'm going to pull the trigger like when I'm talking to them. It's always really important. Like if you ever have prospects, like make sure they know like there's something for sale so they can go and tell their spouse or tell their partner or tell whoever that they're going to buy something. Because like it's kind of annoying because like what a lot of people that are unsuccessful just do, like they kind of use the spouse thing as like a shield to not have to make a decision, right? So you don't want that to happen. So you want them to communicate with their spouse ahead of time. Successful people communicate their intentions to their partners beforehand, and then they make the decision like when they're right then and there. They don't hide behind that so they can delay the inevitable decision they're going to do, right? So that's the biggest thing. And I know it's a side tangent, but like that, if you can just get that foundational understanding of like making someone book a call with the intention of buying, exponentially all this stuff gets easier. I remember I didn't know that at the time, so like I was doing the same thing. I was like, hey, why don't we do a discovery call? And they'd be like, well, what are you gonna talk about? I don't know, I'm just gonna try to get to know you better, know your situation better. And then, oh my gosh, this thing's gonna cost me $3,000? What? I didn't even know that you were trying to sell me something. What? And it would just like be this whole thing. So just get away from that when you can, okay? Awesome. So that is the video content. I think we'll save written content for another time. But that's how you start getting clients on social media, right? So number one, if you're going to start doing the organic method first, you go into Facebook groups. Now, 3.5 different ways to use Facebook groups, just to recap. Number one is answering questions. Number two is going down like the friend request members list and friend requesting people. Number three is podcasting with the owners of the group so you build immunity, and now they let you do whatever you want, and then you can start posting their groups to go and get clients. Okay, now this is part one. Inside of our next part, we're going to kind of build more on the content section. We're going to talk about other social media platforms, and then we're going to kind of expand even further, okay? So also, if you want to skip all these videos and skip all this trial and error and just get straight to the source, I can tell you what to do for your situation, click the link inside the description above or below the video to book a call with myself. Let's see if I can help you inside of our mentorship program for financial coaches, okay? I will talk to you soon. Have a good rest of your day. Take it easy and talk to you soon.
Recording stopped.